All right, we are started. We're going to begin talking about government and the kinds of governments there are, and especially the kind of governments that have dominated the past, which then leads to the formation of our government and how it's so different. This is page 5 of our textbook. And government is simply the rules or the regulations or the institutions that are set up to govern a people and its territories. For our government, there's 3 core values. You'll want to know these: liberty, equality, democracy. Freedom, basically. When we talk about liberty, we're talking about freedom. And there's several freedoms that we as Americans enjoy that are encoded in the First Amendment. Equality is so important because equality was very rare before the establishment of any kind of democracy. And there have been other democracies, forms of it, before ours. And so you'll want to know those 3 things about our American values, our American political values. Now, when we talk about politics, we're talking about something different than government. Politics is basically, as you can see here, the tensions between citizens, the tensions between free citizens and their leaders about whose leadership is going to dominate or have more influence, about how things are going to be structured, and the types of policies, right? I don't know if any of you keep up with the news right now, but the leadership in our government, which is divided into 2 parties, are at a very tense struggle right now about current and not so past events related to our former president, Trump. But anyway, that's what politics is. It's this basically fight to see who's going to win or have more influence over the citizenry. Another definition here in this smaller box. Let me zoom in for a bigger view for you. Politics is the struggle over who gets what, when, and how. It refers to conflicts over the government leadership, or who the leadership is, how the government is organized, and what its politics are. So you guys kind of understand the difference between government and politics? Okay, so government has, when a government is formed, a question that is considered is who is going to rule? Now, if there's no rulership, you have anarchy. think of The Dark Knight Rises, when Bane, that guy who's almost as muscular as me, Bane basically creates an anarchy in Gotham City, right? Everybody's free to do what they want to do. Now, in reality, even though there's anarchy, Bane and his minions are basically calling the shots. But when there's no one really to, but Bane and his followers, they've just made it to where no one can leave Gotham City, but everybody can do what they want to do. That's anarchy. We might also classify it in this category. If you really want to be more technical and say Bane and his people are like an oligarchy, they're the few who are ruling. But when there is no leader, you have mass chaos and anarchy. When there's just one ruler, you can have either a monarchy, like our class, right? Just kidding, because I will allow you to have input. I'm not a monster, but a monarchy is where there's a royal leader, king or queen. Or you can have a dictatorship. Classic example from the 20th century, of course, is Nazi Germany when Hitler assumed the dictatorship around 1933. So this brings us to, if you have a few rulers, there's several different types. There's more than just these two, which I'll show you here in a moment. We wanted to set up a government where all people ruled. Democracy. But our founding fathers did not like the word democracy. It was a dirty word. The D word is a dirty word. It's a bad word, because to have simple, straight, direct democracy in their minds meant mobocracy. The people become a mob and they rule. So what our founders set up was not a direct democracy, but a representative democracy. The United States of America is not a democracy. We are a democratic republic. We are a constitutional republic. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But now, for now, I want to show you some more types of government. 16 different types. Now, don't sweat it. Don't worry. You don't have to know these for the test or anything. Maybe there'll be a bonus question about, name 5 different types of governments, but maybe. But what I want you all to understand here as I do a close-up here is, for the majority of human history, leading up to maybe the mid to late 1600s, and after the Roman and Greek empires, because even within Rome and Greece, you had the ideas of democracy. You had the ideas, and they were practiced somewhat. But Rome was, of course, ruled by the emperor and or the Caesar. And so think about from the Roman Empire through the Glorious Revolution of England in 1688. The majority of governments were dictators, monarchs, oligarchs. You had either one person or a few ruling the many. And as we'll see here in a moment, or maybe on Monday morning, society did not have this idea of all people are equal. All citizens or subjects, well, all citizens of a kingdom or nation do not have the same rights, and they're not looked upon equally. Society was basically divided into different classes. And so people who lived in a dictatorship or a kingdom were not so much citizens, but subjects to the leader. So as we look at these different types of government, this is just for your information. I think you'll find it handy for the day whenever you make it onto Jeopardy. You'll be able to answer the American history class questions. Republic, that's us. Democracy, that's not us. Not so much us, we're more this. A theocracy, that's a government where a religion rules in the name of God. Can anybody think of a modern day theocracy? Doesn't have to be just the Christian religion. Think Middle East.
Like the Pope?
No, that's not a country. That's a religion. Or that's not a government. That's a religion. But interestingly, if you guys don't know this, the smallest country, huh?
Never mind. Go on.
Oh, go ahead. If you had one.
Like Republicans, aren't they like?
No, Republicans are a political party like Democrats. I'm talking about a country where the government is ruled, a country where the government is a religion that rules.
Iran.
Okay, Iraq, or not Iraq, but Iran. Iran, where a group of Muslims are the government leaders. And if you're a woman in Iran, you have to wear a burqa all the way down to your feet. Or a burqa's on the head, isn't it? Around your face. In a robe. What's that? Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
I thought it was like a.
Yeah, it goes all the way down.
A hijab.
Yeah. I thought it was a hijab.
Hijab's just covered the head.
Oh, okay. The burqa goes down to the feet, and then
The
The
hijab.
hijab.
Hijab's on the head.
they really can't see. You really can't see anything, even their eyes, because it's kind of veiled. People who would want to come out and say they're a different gender would be put to death, or if they're homosexual in Iran and they were found out, they would be put to death. So this religion rules very, very strictly. So that's an example of a theocracy. They are ruling in the name of God. Now, just I was going to check. Go ahead. if you were going to add something, please do. Because I want this to be more a discussive lecture. So I was going to chase a rabbit trail real quick because you brought up the Pope, and while he is the head of the Catholic Church, the place where he lives in Rome, called the Vatican, it's like 1 square mile. It's the smallest country on the planet. The Vatican is considered a political country. So in a sense, you were right. But the Pope is the head of the whole Catholic Church. All right, back on the regular trail. Autocracy, a technocracy is where you would have a government where the scientists and the elite experts controlled everything. Fascism is a type of, this would be Hitler, totally controlling the people, but with one main leader. Anarchy, monarchy, oligarchy, a few people are ruling. A plutocracy is a government where it's ruled by the rich and powerful, different than the scientists and the technical experts. Although I would think those people would be rich too. Tyranny, I can never say that word. Maybe some of you can help me.
Totalitarian.
Thank you, yes. So these are the 16 different types of government. Any questions on those? Well, I get some pure leaf tea.
Nice.
Extra sweet.
Right way to go.
All right. Okay, I'm paying attention. 11:43. So now, if I'm still going strong in 5 minutes, let me know that we got 2 minutes left. All right, I want to introduce you to. I'll try to finish John Locke. You'll find information on John Locke on page 7. But and those of you that have already turned in your chapter 1 worksheet, I can tell that you looked up John Locke online or somewhere else, and that's good. I encourage you, when you get to that assignment, if you haven't already, look him up and read about his political views, because this guy was a major influence on Jefferson and Franklin, Madison, and our founders. Those men who wrote our Declaration and our Constitution.
Don't forget Hamilton.
Thank you, Hamilton. I haven't seen it yet, so I need to watch it. But I really like the King song.
It's on
Oh,
Disney
you don't
Plus.
know.
But I like it not because I think I'm a king, but because it's hilarious. And the guy does it so great where he spits out saliva. It's just awesome. Anyway, okay, Disney Plus. I do have that. So I am up with the times.
Ask
It's
him if
almost like 3 hours long though.
ask him if he
so-
watches Cars.
Do you
Or-
watch Cars?
You watch Cars?
Do I watch it or have I watched it?
Have you?
I have, of course. All 3 of them. Why? Why do you ask?
Because I love the movie.
That
Oh
was
yeah, yeah, it's awesome.
Top.
Although I thought number 3 was much better than number 2.
Honestly, it was really good until like the end. I kind of wanted Lightning McQueen to step up and somehow just beat Storm.
I understand that, but we're living in the time of Me Too and women's lib, and so, she had to do it.
Equality.
Number 2.
That's right. There you go. Equality. Very good. Now, I am also a big fan of Despicable Me, Megamind.
Have you
Mega
watched?
Mind.
Have you watched the new Minions movie? It was really good.
Not yet. I wanted to see it at the
I
theater.
got her
but my family voted for Top Gun, which made me proud.
Top Gun is so good.
It's awesome.
I haven't seen the new one though.
Minion. Megamind is a really good movie.
That's
It's
right.
really
Why are we the only
Okay.
one talking about movies?
You guys aren't trying to distract me from John Locke, are you? Okay. All right, John Locke. In a nutshell, he said government is to protect the rights of the citizens. It's not about leaders getting rich or selfishly living for themselves and controlling others. But the government is to protect people, and especially the 3, actually, you'll find 4 natural rights: life, health, property, and liberty. And you can see probably his influence in our founders naming life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If a government violates people's rights, a government should then be replaced. A la our Declaration of Independence, which I'm going to encourage you to read. It's only like 276 words. That might be the, you know what, I think that's the Gettysburg Address. The Declaration is very short, but in it, Thomas Jefferson wrote it. He laid out 26 reasons why America is giving the boot to England. What they're saying, and he begins by saying this: whenever, basically, I'm paraphrasing, whenever a country starts to violate its colonies, it should be replaced. And then I see this 1148. So finally, Locke believed that all men are equal before the law, but not everybody is equal. What does he mean by that? Everybody is to have equal protections under the law, but not everybody is equal in life. Some people are born into riches and have land and lots of property because of their family inheritance. Many people are born poor. Today, people are born in middle class, lower class, upper class. We also know that the way many societies and cultures are set up, people who maybe, like you said earlier, for a long time, women didn't have equality. So, but he believed a government should provide equality before the law for all its citizens. So with that, we will stop there. We'll finish chapter 1 on Monday. Any questions? Has anybody seen the National Treasure movies?
No.
Must be
The
With Nicolas
what?
Cage, National Treasure.
National Treasure movies or something like that.
Oh, no.
No,
Nicolas Cage,
don't know who that is.
Justin
Tell me
Bartha, the guy from
I don't know a lot of actors.
The Hangover.
I love Hangover.
You'll enjoy it. You'll learn a lot because it's about these treasure hunters, and they learn that there's a map on the back of the Declaration of Independence. So Nicolas Cage has to steal the Declaration so that these other guys don't steal it. And it's a map that leads them to a national treasure. Really good movie. And the second one too. So anything else? Have a great weekend.
You too.
You too.
All
You
right.
too, King Bing. King Bings.
Bye. We'll
King
talk with you next
King.
time.
King Bings.